Hello, beautiful people. We are back with another, oh goodness, I need a better name for this. Showing you my nails, 4th of July nails. Absolutely adore these nails. What should I call this? A base lay down. There we go. I am planning the week of July 4th to July 10th. This is kind of a fast forward. It just made sense to me to record the 4th of July spread when I had my 4th of July nails on. I kind of notice that the seasons don't match up with the nails all the time, but since I do seasonal nails every now and then, I like to have them coincide. And again, if you didn't watch my last base lay down, I have a tendency to lay these down ahead of time. I don't usually use extenders. That way it makes me think of my top moments for that day. So that way I'm not putting in the trivial things that I don't necessarily want to remember. It makes me kind of do the highlight reel, which is what I prefer. So you're going to see me make a lot of mistakes during this spread. It is a matte spread, which is wonderful for filming because you don't really have the glare when you do the filming. However, this past year, I've mostly worked with glossy paper and not a lot of matte. So that's one of the issues that I was running into. Planner Pixie Co. is another company that's actually newer to me as well. So trying to figure out how I make use of the stickers in her kits. I'm getting a little bit better as I go along, but it does pose some challenges. So you will see some errors coming up. I did get 3 different foil bundles for this week. I got silver, red glitter, and a blue glitter. The blue glitter was only available for one weekend. I do hope she brings it to shop. It is just a stunning kit. This is Sadie Stickers. It was a $2. It's actually seashells, so it wasn't meant for 4th of July or starfish. Sorry, starfish. But she does tend to bring her stickers back annually. So if they are not in shop, which my guess would be that they are no longer in shop, sometimes she will bring back favorites, and sometimes it will just be the next year. So if you guys keep your eye out for those. Okay, so back to the foil. Sorry, in Planner Pixie Co. I did pick out 3 different foil bundles. The blue sparkle is not available. I do hope she does bring it to shop because blue is my most favorite color, and I'm a girl that likes a little bit of glitter, or a lot of glitter rather, if you can tell from my nails. I have a pure silver nail that you can see on the screen right now. I did break the middle nail on my right hand. I was opening a box and my nail just snapped. It made me so sad. I'm like, I haven't even recorded my spread yet. But it happens. It's not so noticeable because I did kind of cut it and file it off. So it's just shorter than the rest of them. I didn't have a design. I was quite fortunate there. So with the foil kits, the idea, you can see the red glitter stars right here. The idea is that I wanted to do red, white, blue in the boxes as underlays, and it didn't work out so well because as I did it, I only ended up doing 1 silver representing the white, and the rest was all red and blue. So when I saw that that's how it turned out, then I went ahead and my brain keeps stopping on me, guys, sorry. But I went ahead and just used the silver kit for this bundle. I was planning on interchanging them. This is something I've seen when you have the extra large double box. I saw this where they had it down in the bottom corner. I did mention I do like to do bottom, middle, top for my double boxes, but I actually really thought that this was a good idea, having the double box go down into the washi. And then that way, I mean, I've seen a lot of different ones, and I'm thinking about doing a video on different things that I've seen with the large double boxes, things that you can do different ideas to help add them into your spread, because I feel like a lot of people aren't exactly sure how to add them in. So it might be an interesting video to do. It's definitely on my radar. But so 4th of July spread. This week, I again still packing. I'm still unpacking right now. Today, it's August 1st today. And I'm still unpacking. I have problems, issues, if you will. I like to find things have their permanent space. I also like to decorate as I go, so it's kind of like deep cleaning, reorganizing. Like I said in the last video, I did move in with a guy that I'm seeing, so he's already established and he already has items, and it's kind of finding new places for his items, merging his and mine. We have 4 dining room sets between the two of us. Nobody needs 4 dining room sets, I assure you. So it's just a matter of what goes where and trying to decorate as I go. So it's going to be a very long process. You're probably going to hear me mention about moving and decorating quite a bit. But we do go back to school as teachers at our school. Hey, and I go back on Wednesday. So today's Monday that I'm recording the voiceover. And we will go back on Wednesday the 3rd, and we will have students starting on Monday, which is absolutely fabulous. But you might hear me talk more about teaching and less about moving, unpacking. But for 4th of July, basically worked all day at decorating, cleaning, unpacking. He worked outside. And then later in the evening, we grilled some brats. We watched fireworks in the backyard. So didn't really go out and do much, but it was nice. We enjoyed it. And then after watching the fireworks in the backyard, we watched some fireworks from New York on television. So it wasn't a big to do, but it was nice. It was definitely enjoyable. So last time I actually recorded the voiceover, I had mentioned about talking about teacher salaries. Maybe it's something you guys hear about or don't, or maybe you're a teacher and you know all too well. The only reason why I even think to discuss it is recently I had a family member tell my mother, well, what's the problem with the low pay? That's something that everybody's aware of. And the funny thing is you're not actually all that aware of it like you think you would be. When I first started looking into teaching, you can go on any district's website, any school's website. A lot of times look at a hiring link and you see the pay scale. And when you look at the pay scale, you're like, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. You know, you're like, okay, I could handle that. You know, I could deal with that. And even when you go to college, or at least at my college, we looked at different salaries from different schools, and they even taught us how you want to maneuver the pay scale, that you don't just want to do the years of seniority, but you want to get the professional development or the master's degree to help you move columns as well as years to kind of go at a diagonal. So this is everything that I had been taught and seen, and went into teaching, and I'm like, I can make so much more money doing anything else. I have a degree in math, so a math degree actually gives you a lot of opportunity for high-paying jobs. And so, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what? It's a job I want to do. Love doing this. I have a talent and I want to do this. And, the lower salary, that's fine. I can handle it. When I started teaching, shortly after, they were on a hiring freeze and they were also on a pay freeze. After that, the district that I was at, they were taking $250 out of every single paycheck. So we were getting our salary, but they were taking away $250. We were not getting our annual raises. That just was not a thing. And there was a lawsuit, unions, what have you, and they were told they couldn't do that anymore. Now, the money they did take, they didn't have to return, but they said that they would return it when we retired or we left the district. And so it's like they were taking money out of every single one of our paychecks and holding it interest-free until you decide to retire or leave. So I did leave that district. I did get that money back. But, you know, again, they didn't pay anything extra or additional for keeping that money. And as you guys know, the dollar just goes down in value. It doesn't go up. So that was quite a bit. And to fix the $250 that they were no longer taking from the teachers because they lost the lawsuit and they were ordered to stop taking the $250 from the teachers, they decided to take a 10% pay cut across the entire district. So it didn't matter if you were a teacher, if you were a secretary, administrator, if you worked in the cafeteria or custodial, security, even HR, you know, human resources. It didn't matter who you were. They took 10% of your pay. And again, we're not getting pay raises. So when you start as a first-year teacher and then they're taking 10% away from that, you're not even getting the lowest on the salary that they show you. So what they have published and what people think you're making, you're not even making that. So that was just one district that I worked at. Another thing, I mean, like health insurance, depending on where you're at, that district, I paid an awful lot for my health insurance. We also had to pay a certain percentage of our salary for health insurance once we retired. And if we didn't have it taken out of our paychecks for when we retired, then we were not eligible for Medicaid or Medicare once we retired. And we had to sign paperwork stating that we were aware of that. So again, it was another way that they were in our paycheck. So that district actually announced a second 10% pay cut. And when they did that, a lot of the teachers left that district. At that time I left that district, I did not leave because of the pay cut. I just figured, okay, get through the year. But I had a couple of different people approach me and say, hey, why don't you apply to this other school district? I'm a little bit crazy, so I will kind of go on a wing and a prayer. I don't need to have family or friends. You know, it's always about an adventure. Family and friends, the ones that are there for you are going to be there for you no matter where you're at. That's how I feel. And I'm going to be there for them. So these friends didn't know each other. And so I'm like, okay, this must be a sign. Like, I should apply. So I did, and I actually got the job. Now, the district ended up not taking that second 10% pay cut, but they would have if it wasn't for politics involved. And I'm not even going to get into the politics involved. So I'm at this other school district, and I took a $6,000 pay cut to switch school districts. But they're paying me all my years, but it's a lower paying state. So yeah, it kind of balances out though, because they pay for the health insurance. They don't take out Social Security. So there's a lot of things, and it ended up being that I made a little bit more. And after being at that district, they do give raises more readily, because the first district that I was at you didn't get a raise, period. So it just seemed like your money went down, it never went up. So when I went to this new school district, or the one that I'm currently at, it wasn't too bad, but here and there we wouldn't get raises. There'd be a couple years where they're just not giving raises. One year they gave raises, but they didn't want to give column advancements. So people that went and got their master's degree, national board certifications, did their professional development, everything that they were supposed to do, the district did not want to pay for that. They said, hey, we'll give them a raise, an annual raise, but we're not paying for column advancements. And it was a big fight, but they did end up giving in. But now, the most recent thing is a little bit infuriating. I'm not even sure what the outcome's going to end up being. But as I'm sure most people know, a lot of places are paying a lot more money than they ever have for jobs. Basically because you can't get people to apply for the jobs, and their business depends on having employees for these jobs. So also with teaching, that's also true with teaching. We have just as many people that retire or leave teaching and nobody really coming in to take their place. And we had a massive sub shortage and bus driver shortage. We had so many shortages last year. So our district now, in order to combat that, is offering a significantly increased starting salary. I've been teaching about 15 years at this point, and this significantly increased starting salary is more than my salary. And that's almost a little bit offensive because I have 15 years. I work really, really hard. A lot of times I sell all my preps. I'm there every day after school, a lot of times till 10 o'clock at night. And, they're going to turn around and pay somebody who has very minimal experience more money than they're paying me. And I'm hearing in order to rectify this, they're going to pay me that salary as well. But again, I have 15 years of experience that they don't have. So I have 15 years of expertise on them that they don't have. And now we have the exact same salary. And in order to combat that, because they know that looks bad, I'm hearing that they're going to give us a bonus, a one-time bonus. And that one-time bonus is so laughable. And, it's so when you hear about teachers not getting paid, a lot of people don't realize to the extent, because I did not. And I do my research, and I did my research. And it just wasn't there to even see that no pay increases, just a lot of those things. And then you take all that, and another thing a lot of people don't know is you don't really get a budget for your classroom. The first state that I worked in, there was no budget ever. I was never given a single penny for my classroom and never given supplies. Actually, the first school I worked at, I had no access to textbooks or photocopies. So anything that I even gave the students in my classroom, if I gave them a handout, that came from my pocket. And the textbooks, I didn't even have a class set available, but I teach high school, so I had multiple classes. So I could never just hand them this textbook and say, here, take this home so you can practice or you can, learn, a little bit better. I didn't have that available. In that district, I actually didn't pay my electric bill and bought books so they could learn how to read. I'm a math teacher, and just general reading books for these kids to learn how to read in high school. I didn't pay my electric bill. Even now, I put money into my classroom. I put probably about $2,000 in my classroom every year, easy. Even pencils, just providing pencils. And people are like, oh, but, they have all these fundraisers, fill the bus, backpack, that kind of stuff. You go into different businesses and they'll say, oh, yeah, pay for this for a local school, this wonderful package, and we'll make sure that they get it. A lot of times that's for elementary and not so much for high school. I've even seen where they're distributing backpacks and, well, not seen, I've heard, my students have told me, that they'll take their younger siblings and they'll give it to the elementary kids and even the middle school kids. But because they look too big, they look too much like an adult, they're not allowed to get a backpack. So they're not given any of those supplies once they reach high school, generally. Sometimes the school will have it. The school that I'm at, we actually have a teacher that finds funding and actually actively goes out and seeks out that kind of stuff to have things like food that they can even take home, and backpacks and notebooks and pencils, anything they need. This teacher has, but a lot of the students that don't know that teacher don't feel comfortable going to that teacher and getting those resources. So again, it falls back onto the classroom teachers. And it's one of those things, the school's not providing me with pencils, the kids aren't coming with pencils, or they've lost their pencils, whatever the case may be. When they get to my class and I say, okay, take out a pencil, and they tell you, I don't have one. We'll take out anything to write with. I don't have anything. So either I have to supply the materials to do my job, or I can't do my job. Another funny one, before COVID, I actually did get a classroom budget. It wasn't that much. It was like $125, I think. And they're like, you can spend this on classroom supplies. What would you like? And you tell them, and they order it, and they bring it to your room. On my list, I actually had hand sanitizer, and it was returned back to me because I was told hand sanitizer is not an instructional supply. And it's like, okay. Even after returning, they really haven't given me hand sanitizer. They did eventually get some, and it smelled so bad. Like, it smelled like drinking alcohol, but like cheap drinking alcohol. And being in a high school, that's like the last thing that you want your entire classroom smelling like. So again, I've went out and purchased supplies with my own money. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, I bought 4 gallons of hand sanitizer just to have in my classroom, because I went through 3 gallons personally last year, and I expect to do the same this year. And then another teacher give them a gallon. Even the girl assisting me at the store, because I couldn't find a gallon of hand sanitizer where I was at, she's like, what? She's like, why would you need that much? And I'm like, I'm a teacher. And she's like, oh, okay. It's, you get surprised at the things you end up having to pay for out of your pocket just to be able to do your job. And that doesn't even include like technology items. We spent a year at home. They supplied us with a very, very cheap, very small Chromebook. Didn't even have a mouse or anything, and in order to be able to, teach the kids and even do any type of recording so they could watch it later, that again, all comes out of your pocket. So when you look at all that, we really don't get paid a lot. And then on top of it all, I still have my student loans. So I'm still paying on my student loans, and I'm kind of in a situation. It's an entirely weird situation. It's very unique. I don't know anybody else that has had the same problem I do, but I just wish I had somebody to talk to or listen that could like really look at my situation and try to help me out. But basically right now, as it stands, they go off of my income for my payments. Well, truly right now, we've been not having to pay on our student loans. President Biden has, paused that button, but I'm not sure when it's going to resume or not, because every time it starts coming close, he puts it back a little farther. But I'm kind of in a situation where they look at my income, they decide based off of my income how much I pay for student loans. Now, what I pay for my student loans is actually less than the interest that goes on my student loan. So my student loan is actually growing even though I'm paying it down. I know that there's a pause, but if something doesn't change and fix that, then it's going to continue. So I'm paying a lot of money on my student loans. I needed my student loans to be able to be a teacher. And then I have to pay a lot of money, $2,000 or more a year, for classroom supplies to be able to do my job. Sometimes more, sometimes less. And there's a lot of hours I work that I don't get paid for. I do an after-school club. That after-school club requires an immense amount of time. And I get paid a little bit, but when you calculate it out, I don't even get paid a penny an hour for the time that I put in that after school club. So it does seem to get interesting, and myself as well as many other people I've known have picked up second jobs, just to be able to support our classroom or to be able to support ourselves, and we're not looking at going on extravagant vacations or anything. We're just looking at, being able to make sure our students have what they have, a car that drives, a roof over our head, just basic needs. And I really don't know a teacher that actually stands on their own. Very few and far between. Most of them either have roommates, second income, live with their parents, have a spouse that has an additional income, a lot of times not a teaching income. It's just kind of crazy, the things you wouldn't think about. And like I said, that was not listed on the website, any school or district's website. You see the salary and you're like, oh, if you got a raise every year, because most people do. So it's kind of interesting. And like I said, even right now, we've already started the school year. We went back Wednesday. I'm re-recording the voiceover. I know I said earlier that it was Monday, but now it's Saturday and I'm re-recording part of this voiceover. But we went back to school on Wednesday, and I'm still not sure what my salary is for this school year or what the bonus is, what's going on with my health insurance. It's always a struggle. So not entirely sure. It's very unique type of a career, but I love working with the kids. It's just sometimes the district doesn't make it easy to want to keep staying, especially when you get up there in seniority. They appreciate your knowledge and expertise. They think you're fabulous because you're kind of killing it. I mean, some teachers, don't get me wrong, some teachers, they just kind of put their feet up on the desk, but not really so much these days. I mean, most of the teachers I know are crazy busy. I mean, I can't tell you the text messages I've gotten in the collaborative groups that I work in. So many people are even working today to get ready for Monday for students. So like I said, we work off the clock all the time. Even administration, but administration, they get paid much different salaries and they're under a much different contracts. So our salaries are only for what we work, because a lot of people think, oh, well, you get paid over the summer and you don't work over the summer. So we're contracted. So we do a specific job for a specific salary, and they actually spread out our pay to where we are paid for when we're not working. A lot of school districts will have that option. Some don't give you the option and just do it. So I'm not working, yes, but I already did the job. So in the summertime, they're paying me for what I've already done. Some school districts will give you the option to not get paid during the summer and get your full salary within the contracted year. So in that case, you do get a higher paycheck. But then when summer hits, you're not getting a paycheck until you return. So it's always interesting and unique, and it's always those things that you thought you had figured out and you don't quite have figured out. It's so interesting. And when I was in school, a lot of my teachers had summer jobs, and myself, I've looked for those summer jobs, and they're not as easy to get as you would think. The main reason being is because when you get a summer job, it takes them a bit to train you. About a month or so, and you really only have 2 months. So who is going to take that time and pay you to train you for a month and then turn around and only have you for 1 more month before they don't have you again, even if you promise you're going to return the next summer? So usually the only way to get a summer type job is to have a full-time job. So, or not full-time, but a full year job. So it's you do both jobs at the same time, working one job part-time so you can teach full-time. And I don't know, it's just like I said, it's very interesting, and it's not what you would expect or think. The district that I am at is better than most. I was at a district for a year. That's why I don't really talk about it that much. It was like a one and done. So I don't have experience from year to year with that district. But they seem to be actually very well as far as how they treated the teachers. So it really is a state by state thing. But I feel like on the national level, you're going to run into a little bit of shenanigans everywhere you go, as it were. Looks like I am finishing up on my spread here, putting it down the wacky holidays. So this spread had probably more going on with it than any of the other spreads that I've had. But I do think that it did turn out lovely. And I do hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day. Bye.